David Muir, ABC's World News Tonight, America's most watched newscast. Now streaming same day with all the breaking news of the day on Disney Plus. Most watched, most trusted. Now on Disney Plus every night.
Tonight we have breaking news, the emergency evacuation on that cruise ship. Sick passengers rushed off, including a doctor now sick too. 17 Americans remain on board tonight. Also breaking just moments ago, a judge unsealing the purported Jeffrey Epstein suicide note. First, that emergency unfolding, medical teams in protective gear transporting sick passengers from the ship. At least 3 passengers have died, one of the bodies still on board. More than 100 passengers still stuck on the ship, including 17 Americans. And tonight, the new video now emerging. You will hear the moment the captain tells passengers that the first person had died, telling passengers, "I'm told by the doctor they were not infectious." Also breaking tonight, Jeffrey Epstein's purported suicide note just unsealed, written on a yellow legal pad, found by his former cellmate, reportedly tucked in a book, hidden from public view until just moments ago. Aaron Katursky standing by live. Also breaking tonight, the U.S. war in Iran. There are conflicting messages tonight from the U.S. and Iran. Is there a one-page memo that could kickstart some sort of a peace deal? And what about Iran's nuclear material? Rachel Scott standing by with late reporting. Tonight, tornado watches across multiple states right now. Dangerous thunderstorms, damaging winds. Lee Goldberg has the forecast. Tonight, the breaking headline amid the urgent manhunt for a retired special operations veteran accused of shooting and wounding his wife. Now, the discovery in the woods. The fiery crash of that UPS cargo jet in Louisville. For the first time, we're hearing from 2 workers who survived, describing the ball of flames coming at them when the plane crashed into their workplace. One worker trying to save his co-workers. Tonight, the deadly scene, a state trooper heading home, suddenly trying to stop a wrong-way driver on the highway. Tonight, we remember Ted Turner, the media mogul, visionary, and philanthropist, the brash, outspoken founder of the first 24-hour news network, CNN, back in 1980, and what he once told our Barbara Walters. Tonight, the rescue of more than 1,500 beagles, how they found them. Also news tonight about Kentucky Derby winner Golden Tempo, the new headline right here. And if you recently bought an iPhone, some customers could be getting a refund.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening. We begin tonight here with breaking news. Aaron Katursky standing by with this purported Jeffrey Epstein suicide note. Also breaking, this emergency evacuation. Sick passengers and a doctor who is now sick rushed off that cruise ship at the center of this deadly outbreak in the Atlantic. Medical teams in protective gear transporting 3 passengers from the ship. We're told 2 are in serious condition. At least 3 passengers have died. We're told at least one of those bodies remains on the ship. Tonight, more than 100 passengers are still on board that cruise ship, including 17 Americans. Tonight, you will hear the moment the captain first told passengers 3 weeks ago that the first person had died, and his message then to everyone on the ship that the doctor had told him that that passenger was not infectious. Victor Akendo leading us off.
Tonight, an emergency evacuation from the cruise ship at the center of a deadly hantavirus outbreak. Teams in protective gear transporting 3 patients to the port in Cape Verde, 2 in serious condition, including a British doctor who was caring for the sick. Those passengers then boarding planes and arriving in Amsterdam hours later.
We do know on board that there has been some close contact between individuals where we believe the virus was transmitted. So when we say close contact, we mean very close physical contact, whether it's sharing a bunk room or sharing a cabin, providing medical care.
Among the 8 people sickened, at least 3 passengers have died. Teams are now contact tracing anyone exposed to sick patients who later flew on to Switzerland and South Africa. And they are monitoring the nearly 150 people still on the ship, including 17 Americans, as they sail for Spain's Canary Islands. The body of one victim is still on the ship. And for the first time, we're seeing the moment the captain announced the death of the first passenger, a Dutch national. 3 weeks ago, telling those on board the man wasn't infectious.
This is my sad duty to inform you that one of our passengers sadly passed away last night. Tragic as it is, it was due to natural causes, we believe, and also whatever help issues he was struggling with. I'm told by the doctor were not infectious. So the ship is safe when it comes to that.
Ruhi Chenet was on the ship back then.
Since we were not informed of any contagious disease, everyone was relaxed.
The ship's operator says at the time there was no evidence of a virus and no one else was sick. Kassem Ibn Hatuta is still on the ship. He says doctors are taking samples, but most people are calm about the situation. The WHO suspects the first victim was infected with a rare strain of the hantavirus in Argentina before getting on the ship and later spread it to his wife, who died too. The virus can kill up to 40% of those infected.
We don't have any specific treatment for hantavirus, but supportive care is essential. You can have respiratory failure and cardiac collapse that requires advanced life support in some cases.
And David, I spoke with a WHO doctor now on board. He tells me nobody on the ship is currently symptomatic. It will take 3 days to reach the Canary Islands, where passengers and crew will be evaluated. David?
All of this has been very unsettling. Victor Akendo, thank you. Also breaking tonight, just a short time ago, Jeffrey Epstein's purported suicide note unsealed, found by his former cellmate, reportedly tucked in a book and hidden from public view until late today. Here's our chief investigative correspondent, Aaron Katersky, and what he knows so far.
This is the purported suicide note that his former cellmate claims Jeffrey Epstein left behind the first time he tried to kill himself in jail. A federal judge ordered it unsealed tonight, giving the public and investigators their first look at it. They investigated me for months, found nothing, the note said. It is a treat to be able to choose one's time to say goodbye. What you want me to do? No fun, not worth it. There is no confirmation Epstein for sure wrote the note, and in a jailhouse evaluation, he denied being suicidal, telling a psychologist, "I have no interest in killing myself." His former cellmate, quadruple murderer Nicholas Tartaglione, has claimed he found the note tucked in a book in the days after Epstein's first suicide attempt in July 2019. Less than a month later, Epstein hanged himself in his cell before he could be tried for sex trafficking minors. If this note is real, David, it's not clear why it languished in a court file for years and was never turned over to investigators. But authorities said they had not seen it until tonight. If it can be authenticated, it does provide a window into Epstein's mindset in his final weeks. David?
Aaron Katersky tonight. Aaron, thank you. Tonight, the war in Iran, and there are conflicting messages coming in at this hour from the U.S. and Iran. Is there a one-page memo being studied by the U.S. and Iran that could kickstart some sort of peace deal moving forward? And what about Iran's nuclear material? Meantime, gas prices up in the U.S. again today, now at $4.56 a gallon. Rachel Scott with late reporting now from the White House.
Tonight, 10 weeks into this war, Iran says it's considering a new proposal from the Trump administration to bring it to an end.
They want to make a deal. We've had very good talks over the last 24 hours, and it's very possible that we'll make a deal.
Sources tell ABC News the administration has sent Iran a one-page memorandum of understanding, laying the groundwork for 30 days of negotiations on major issues, including the future of Iran's nuclear program. The proposal calls for Iran to lift restrictions on ships crossing the Strait of Hormuz. In return, the U.S. would ease its blockade of Iranian ports.
We're doing well. Now we have to get what we have to get. If we don't do that, we'll have to go a big step further.
On social media, he was blunt. If they don't agree, Trump wrote, the bombing starts. Iran has not agreed to anything yet and remains publicly defiant, one official declaring Iran has its finger on the trigger and is ready. But the American blockade is squeezing Iran's economy. Today, the Pentagon announcing U.S. forces fired on another Iranian-flagged tanker. Here at home, President Trump, well aware gas prices are rising every day. The average price of a gallon of gas now $4.56. That's the highest in 4 years, up $1.62 since the war began and 25 cents since just last week. But today, the president said there was no deadline for Iran to make a deal.
Never a deadline. It'll happen. It'll happen, but never a deadline.
And David, we know that one of the biggest sticking points in any talks will be Iran's nuclear program. The president has insisted that Iran needs to give up its nuclear material, but so far Iran has still flat out refused to do so, David.
Okay, Rachel Scott following breaking developments tonight as well. Thank you. There's a developing headline this evening amid this urgent manhunt in Tennessee. The search for a retired special operations veteran accused of shooting and wounding his wife. Well, authorities late today and their discovery in the woods. Here's Morgan Norwood.
Tonight, federal marshals navigating the steep hill and deep Tennessee woods, hunting for the retired Special Forces veteran wanted for shooting his wife. Greg Berry, armed with a handgun and extra ammunition, sparked a massive manhunt after he shot his wife following an argument last week and then bolted into the woods. A trail camera capturing this image of Berry, who police say has extensive Army survival training, wearing camouflage clothing. Tennessee Highway Patrol sharing this video of the manhunt, dogs tracking the scent, long guns drawn. Late today, Berry, who was just added to Tennessee's most wanted list, was found during a search. The Stewart County Sheriff's Department said initial indications show he died due to a self-inflicted gunshot wound. And David, authorities say Berry's wife survived that shooting and was taken to the hospital. Her condition still unknown tonight. David?
All right, Morgan Norwood reporting tonight. Morgan, thank you. There is news tonight after that fiery crash of a UPS cargo jet in Louisville. For the first time now, we're hearing from two workers who survived, describing the ball of flames coming at them when the plane crashed into their workplace. Here's Matt Rivers with the interview.
Tonight, for the first time, we're hearing from the workers who barely survived that fiery plane crash in Louisville that left 15 people dead.
Oh my God!
That UPS jet losing its left engine on takeoff last November, crashing just seconds into the flight, slamming into an auto scrapyard where Ashley Muse and Adam Bowman were working.
When we looked out the window, all you could see was a huge ball of fire coming straight for us. And everyone started screaming and running.
Adam jumping into action, saying he pulled one victim out of the inferno who later passed away from his injuries.
I was thinking, this was it. I wasn't going to make it. It started getting really hot. Thinking about my wife and thought about my daughter.
Both survivors among the more than 100 victims and businesses filing civil lawsuits alleging UPS and its partners were negligent. Tonight, UPS saying in a statement to ABC News, "We remain deeply saddened by Flight 2976. Our focus continues to be on supporting those affected and working closely with the National Transportation Safety Board as the investigation continues." David, the lawyers in this case tell me they believe UPS, quote, took risks and that this crash was preventable. David?
Matt Rivers reporting tonight. And Matt, I know you have much more of your interview tomorrow morning on Good Morning America. In the meantime, we turn next tonight. Tornado watches across multiple states right now as we're on the air. So the latest on these storms, let's get right to senior meteorologist Lee Goldberg back with us tonight. Hey, Lee.
And David, hey, we have new tornado warnings across Louisiana and Mississippi. A dangerous night across the deep south. Tornado watches for 4 states from Texas to Alabama. And then that tornado threat will go through this evening. It'll transition to a damaging wind threat. Flash flooding a concern. Atlanta under a flood watch tomorrow. The thunder threat from Mobile across the Florida Panhandle into the Carolinas. We have rain here in the Northeast. That'll end tonight and give way to cooler temperatures. David?
Lee Goldberg back with us tonight. Lee, thank you. Tonight here, we remember Ted Turner, a visionary and philanthropist, the brash, bold, outspoken founder of CNN. He was a trailblazer in the television industry, but he had so many passions. A conservationist, a lover of the outdoors, and never at a loss for words. Tonight, actor Jane Fonda, remembering the man she was married to for a decade.
Ted Turner was an entrepreneur, a cable news pioneer, a philanthropist, a conservationist. He built a TV media empire.
Hi, I'm Ted Turner, and this is Cable News Network.
Creating CNN more than 4 decades ago, the world's first 24-hour news network.
Fresh news with fresh reports.
Telling ABC News before its start, he was betting his fortune on its success.
Whatever I have is being put at risk on this project, and if it's not successful, I'll be looking for a job.
Ted Turner was born in Cincinnati in 1938, taking over his father's advertising businesses at the age of 24.
Superstation WTBS.
In 1970, he would buy a struggling local TV station in Atlanta and use satellite technology to reach a larger audience. He called it the country's first superstation.
The superstation with better television programming.
Stand by, ready, 3, take 3, Mike Muir.
In 1980, Ted Turner would launch CNN. Their first broadcast, June 1st, 1980.
Good evening, I'm David Walker.
And I'm Lois Hart. Now here's the news.
CNN's breakthrough moment came during the first Gulf War.
Tremendous lightning in the sky.
The first time a war was broadcast live.
Hear the sound of planes. They're coming over our hotel.
For decades, he was a risk taker, and he would become a multi-billionaire.
You'll never get in trouble if you don't do anything.
But on the other hand, you'll never get anywhere either.
His brashness and confidence often on full display.
How come no one else had thought of that?
Well, I don't know. How come nobody else thought the world was round till Columbus came around?
Along the way, creating TBS, TNT, Turner Classic Movies, and the Cartoon Network, buying the Atlanta Braves.
The Atlanta Braves.
Right there when they won the World Series.
The team of the 90s has its world championship.
We worked hard, and we deserve it.
Oh, what a beautiful sight.
Another passion, sailing, winning the 1977 America's Cup. In 1990, he would marry his third wife, Jane Fonda. Married for a decade before divorcing, but there always remained a true connection. Tonight, Fonda sharing this photo of the two of them saying, "I love Ted with all my heart," describing him as gloriously handsome, deeply romantic, and a swashbuckling pirate. She goes on to say he had a big life, a brilliant mind, and a soaring sense of humor. Rest in peace, dearest Ted. You are loved, and you will be remembered. Jane Fonda tonight also talking about Turner's love of nature, a conservationist, purchasing hundreds of thousands of acres of land in the U.S. for nature preservation. In doing so, Turner becoming the fourth largest private landowner in the U.S.
I'm going to try my dead level best to donate $1 billion to the UN causes.
Ted Turner would also donate $1 billion to the United Nations.
It's an investment, and it makes me feel real good. There's nothing that gives you the satisfaction that helping others does.
Ted Turner died today at the age of 87. In 2018, he announced that he had Lewy body dementia, a progressive brain disorder. He is survived by 5 children, 14 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren. Tonight, Ted Turner, in his own words.
Every program that I originated, I always tried to have it be uplifting, entertaining, and educational, as well as fun and interesting to watch. That's what I'm really proudest of.
Ted Turner remembered, and later right here tonight, what Ted Turner once told our Barbara Walters after one of her famous questions. The answer made her laugh, and we'll have that a little later here. Also, when we come back tonight, the other news this evening, the deadly scene, a state trooper heading home, suddenly trying to stop a wrong-way driver on the highway. Authorities say he saved so many other lives in this moment. Also ahead tonight, if you recently bought an iPhone, you might be getting a refund. Who is eligible? Coming up here. There's news tonight about Kentucky Derby winner Golden Tempo. Is there no second act? What we've just learned in a moment here. Tonight, a Massachusetts state trooper is being called a hero after using his car to stop a wrong-way driver on Route 1 in Lynnfield, Massachusetts. Authorities say Trooper Kevin Traynor died from his injuries. The other driver was also killed. Law enforcement officers and firefighters honoring Traynor, who was to be married in just a few months. Tonight, news here about a possible refund. Some iPhone customers could soon be receiving cash payments of up to $95 from Apple. The company reaching a settlement in a $250 million class action lawsuit over Apple's AI capabilities. Anyone who bought an iPhone between June 2024 and March 2025, they say is eligible. They say customers will be notified that they can file a claim. When we come back here on the broadcast, the rescue of more than 1,500 beagles, where the dogs were discovered in a moment. To the index of other news, there will be no Triple Crown winner this year. Kentucky Derby winner Golden Tempo will sit out the Preakness on May 16th. His trainer saying the best decision for the horse, quote, is to give him a little more time following such a tremendous effort. Well, tonight, authorities say some 1,500 beagles have been removed from a Wisconsin research facility. They're looking for new homes for the dogs now. Look at them. Saved by 2 animal rescue organizations. Previously, the facility had agreed to give up its state license to avoid animal mistreatment charges. They deny mistreating animals. Let's get those dogs some homes. When we come back here, Barbara Walters and what she asked Ted Turner. His answer made her laugh, and you'll see it in a moment. Finally tonight here, Barbara Walters with Ted Turner.
A biographer once wrote of you, you had said, I would like to own everything.
No, I don't want to own everything.
What would you like to own that you don't own?
It's not necessarily get everything you want. In fact, I'm not sure it's even healthy to get everything you want. In fact, I'm sure it's not healthy.
What's the best piece of advice you were given? Was there one?
Early to bed, early to rise, work like hell, and advertise.
A little rhyme to make Barbara laugh. Thank you for watching here. I'll see you right back here tomorrow. From all of us here at ABC News, good night.
David Muir, the most trusted anchor in America, the most watched anchor in America. Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir the #1 newscast in America.